Welcome back to another episode of the House Husband Diaries. This is my fifth episode and the last episode on tennis players. Right? The fifth? Sixth. This is my sixth. Yes, sixth. And I'll tell you, so this is going to be about the best of the next generation. And, I wrap up this series on tennis because I became much more interested in tennis over the last, I was interested in it growing up. And then you had Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi. And I had Andre Agassi's tennis racket. I had Andre Agassi's shoes. I was a huge Andre Agassi fan. Pete Sampras was a little boring for me. Pete, if you watch this, no offense, I'm sure you're not offended because I'm nobody and you're Pete Sampras, but a little bored by Pete Sampras. Andre Agassi seemed to have that little pizzazz, And then as I aged, right, Pete Sampras, not Pete Sampras, sorry, Andre Agassi, after his divorce, I think it was from Brooke Shields, married Steffi Graf, right, German tennis player, and I get into my 30s and I too marry a woman from Germany. And, I think Andre, you and me, you know what I mean? So much in common, except for everything. But we did both marry German women, right? So other than that, that's a huge aside. But then there was really a dead period. Andy Roddick, bless your heart, you had to play some tough matches against Federer. But there's not really a whole lot of American, American influence in tennis. And so I was really into basketball, football, watching basketball mainly, and then football. But the problem that I've run into in America is just the egoism, the egotists, the egos that American athletes have, especially in basketball and in football, and the holdouts, wanting just tons of money, egregious amounts of money for nothing. You're not that good. We can replace you. I don't understand why. This is totally for another episode, but this is just kind of why I've been on this tennis kick and why it got me. I'm so turned off by American sports because of just the selfishness. It's a microcosm of our politics and other things, and we can talk about that later. You'll probably be surprised in my politics. But this video is really about the next generation of international tennis players. And sadly, when I look at my list, there still is not an American on here that I think is going to make waves. You have John Isner, and he's been, solid for the last decade. You've got a couple of young Americans, Francis Tiafoe, Taylor Fritz. I don't know what happened to Jack Sock. He just dropped off the face of the planet. And he's playing doubles now. But really, there's not a whole lot in the near future for American tennis. It's probably as far as legitimate top 5, top 10 year over year. I think Taylor Fritz will be good. I think Francis Tiafoe will be good. I think there might be a couple other guys that'll be good. John Isner-ish. Maybe not even as successful as John Isner. But the whole point of this video of the next generation is really what we're looking at from my previous videos of the Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, Novak Djokovic era. They're aging out. Federer is basically there. He's playing at a high level, but he's really he's gonna be 39, 40. He's aging out. Djokovic and Nadal, if they want to, they have a few good years left. They're playing at a high level. They split the majors this year. In 2019, 2020 will be really interesting. As I said in previous videos, it's a chance for the young guns to finally see if they can overtake Nadal and Djokovic. But the first step is to overtake Federer, right? Like Federer is still number 3 in the world. I mean, he still wins more than everybody else except for Nadal and Djokovic. So those young guns have to be able to take out Federer on a consistent level. And really, what I thought I would do in this video is compare sort of the age 24, 25, and 26 seasons of Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and the young guns. And the young guns are how I define them as the 23 and under, right? Dominic Thiem doesn't count. Sorry, Dominic, you were born at completely the wrong time. You're a clay court master, but Nadal's way better, and that stinks for you. So he has no majors because his best surface is Nadal's best surface and Nadal's best of all time. It's tough luck for Dominic Thiem. He should be a major winner, kind of like Andy Roddick. Andy Roddick should have a couple of majors, but he just came up at the wrong time. His best surfaces, his best tournaments happen to be Roger Federer's. He faced Roger Federer and lost, and it stinks. But Dominic Thiem is aging out. He's 26. He'll be 27. You get to he should already have a couple of majors or a handful of majors if he was going to make it on the historical level. And so really what that brings us to is the fact that Nadal and Djokovic are in their early 30s, 32 and 33. So they'll be 33 and 34 in the 2020 season. And they're aging out, right? They have 2 or 3, maybe 4 good years. Maybe. So then who's going to win the major starting after that? Or in this interim period, in this transition period, who's going to win, 2, 3, 4 majors, sneak a couple out? Is it going to be one guy? Is it going to be 2 guys? Or is it going to be, they're just all going to get one? And there won't be like a consensus of like who's the next 1 or 2 guys or 3 guys that's going to carry it forward. Because somebody has to carry the torch, right? And so we're not really sure once Federer retires, once Nadal retires, once Djokovic. I mean, I think when Federer retires, whenever that is it after next year? Is he going to say, you know what, whether he's tied with Nadal, whether he still has a lead on Nadal, whether he's losing to Nadal? I think once he gets the all-time wins record, he'll have the all-time matches played record. I doubt he'll get all-time titles. He might come back for like a couple of 250 events and try to win them, in 2 years in 2021 just to get the titles record. I don't think Nadal will ever get there. I don't think he'll play long enough. I don't think he's winning. I don't think he plays enough small events to get the overall titles record. And I don't think he wants that. I don't think he cares. I think Federer cares. So you've got that, but then the Grand Slams is really what we're talking about. The Grand Slams and the wins and these younger guys. And so you probably have 3 or 4 good, solid years of Nadal and Djokovic, Federer 1 or 2 more years, and then you've got a whole bunch of people that show up for Grand Slams. Like 2 dozen people that could win a Grand Slam on any given day. You've got Stan Wawrinka, who's won some. Andy Murray's making his comeback. You've got Dominic Thiem, as I said, is going to be a force in the French Open whenever Nadal and Djokovic decide to hang it up. I don't know. There's a number of other good players that are older, but they're going to age out. And so it took me a while to try to figure this out. And I think really what this video is about and what I'm talking about is so subjective on injuries in the future, avoiding injuries, staying healthy, and then staying hungry. There's just really no way to predict an individual sport like this because one injury can derail, a year or two, and a year or two can put you 2 or 3, 4 or 5 majors behind, and that is, that's a death sentence when you're talking about something like the history of tennis. So really, when I look at all the guys that are 23 and younger, 23 and younger is Daniil Medvedev, Matteo Berrettini, Kalin Khachanov. They're all 23. Andrei Rublev and Alexander Zverev are 22. Stefano Tsitsipas is 21. Denis Shapovalov and Alex de Minaur are 20. Felix Auger Aliassime, I'm butchering that. I watched some videos on how they pronounce his name, and like the first 4 videos or 4 things that I saw, the announcers didn't even attempt it. And then Auger Aliassime, I don't know. Anyway, sorry Felix if you watch this. I don't speak French, and I did a horrible job of French in 8th grade, and yeah. So just went to France for the first time in my life, though, a few months ago, and really enjoyed the Saint Malo and Mont Saint Michel. I know you're Canadian, but whatever. And then the last one, so he's 19, and then Yannick Sinner is the Italian guy who's 18. He was the youngest guy in the top 100. So really, none of those guys have any majors, right? So 23 and under, and none of them have any majors. And what's so fascinating is I went back and I looked at Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. I said, okay, at age 24, which is the season that Daniil Medvedev, Matteo Berrettini, and Karen Khachanov are going to have this year, how many majors did Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic have in their age 24 season? How many career majors have they won? I'm going to start. Djokovic had 4 by the end of that season. So that means Medvedev, Berrettini, and Khachanov would have to win the Grand Slam, which is something Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic had never done. It's only like the last person to do that was like Rod Laver, right? So they're way behind. They're like an entire season's worth, and you got to figure Nadal and Djokovic are going to win at least 1 apiece next year, at least. So Daniil Medvedev, Berrettini, Khachanov will be lucky to have 1 or 2. So they're just behind the 8 ball straight up. So Djokovic had 4 majors by the end of his age 24 season. Federer had 6 majors by the end of his 24-year-old season. And Nadal had 9. 9 majors by the end of his 24-year-old season. That's outrageous. 9 majors. He was 3rd only to, well, 4th, I guess, right? To Bjorn Borg, Sampras, and Federer by the time he was 24, or he had finished his age 24 season. These guys aren't even close at this point. None of them have won a major. So then you go to the age 25 season. Djokovic only won 1. He's got 5 Grand Slams by the end of his age 25 season. Federer has 9, and Nadal has 10. And then the age 26 season, Djokovic has 6 Grand Slams. Nadal has 11, and Federer has 12. So Federer actually had more by age 26. He had a better age 25 and a better age 26 season than Nadal. Nadal had some injuries. I don't know. I didn't look to see if those were the years that he had injuries and yada, yada, yada. But you figure, Nadal's 5 years younger. He's only got 1 less major. Djokovic is a year younger than Nadal. They're all neck and neck. So what does that mean for the younger generation of tennis players? I mean, I think for Medvedev, Berrettini, Khachanov, Rublev, and Zverev, I think you're just SOL. You may be able to get a number of majors, 4, 5, 6. I just think you were born too late. I think you were born in that whole era of just being younger than Nadal, Djokovic, and Federer. You're just kind of like, there's a limit to the success you're going to have historically in tennis. It really gets interesting with Tsitsipas at 21, Shapovalov at age 20, de Minaur at age 20, Felix and Yannick Sinner at 19 and 18. Those guys have an opportunity, especially the teenagers, the 20-year-olds, give them 3 years, give Nadal and Djokovic 3 more years, see how many of those 12 majors they can win, right? Set new records, and then maybe they retire. Who knows? These young guys are going to be at that age, 20, 21, 22, 23, to start winning 2 or 3 majors a year to start adding to their total. So my money, if I had to guess, depending on injuries, is going to be some combination of the young Italian Zinner, the young Canadian Auger Aliassim, whatever his name is. So sorry to butcher that. Shapovalov, he's a lefty, could follow in Nadal. I know that makes some things, tricky for people. Deminauer is supposed to be superior speed, and Tsitsipas seems to have a lot going on. I'm just not sure that Zverev, Rublev, and the other guys that are 22 and older are going to be able to win enough majors from the older generation, from Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to hold off the younger guys that may play similar levels of tennis. They're just going to age out in terms of historical numbers. I think they'll get up there. They might be like an Edberg. They might be, like a Guga or something, have 3 or 4, Jim Courier. And they'll just kind of get lost in the history of like, hey, they were really good players. They might be number one, but they're just not going to, put up the historically great numbers that a Borg or a Sampras or the big three of these days. So, that's kind of what I have. So let me know what you think. I know it's the down season of tennis right now, but this video will be up. So when tennis gets going again in 2020, and as we move forward, hopefully people will find this video and we'll just see how these predictions play out. Because I really think it's going to be interesting to watch the 2020-2021 season. Historically for tennis, huge seasons, and I'm looking forward to it. So I hope you guys are as well. Thanks for watching as always, and we'll talk to you next time.